Good deal. Excited about where we are defensively right now. Coming off the spring game this past weekend, very pleased with how we went out there and we were focused. We performed well. A couple of things that we talked about that morning. Number one was just really the fundamentals and technique. Being one of 11, everybody doing their job, and it starts with great communication. That's a sign of a great defense. Talking pre-snap, even post-snap, when things are developing, we're still communicating with one another. So therefore, we can play fast within the down. So I was very pleased with that opportunity to be able to get some takeaways. Anytime you can take the ball away, you feel like you're giving yourself an opportunity and a chance to either score on defense or put the offense in scoring position. And today we came out, I thought we were focused. We had a transition between outside and had to go in the indoor with the weather. Guys stayed locked in and we were able to finish and really get something out of practice today. So I'm open up for questions from here.
Dave DeArmond, Mizzou, you're up first. Go ahead.
Yeah, Steve, if you look back, 3 or 4 weeks, how would you assess the progress you've made with what you hope to get done at the beginning of spring ball?
I think we're right on track. When you look at, the things that we've implemented, I've seen progress as a unit. I've seen progress with individuals. I think they're really trying to understand and grasp the defense. And I've seen the improvement. So again, I'm pleased with where we are. We're a long way away from where we want to be, but I feel like we're moving in the right direction.
Ben Arnett, KMU.
Steve, what's the benefit you're seeing this week of kind of this unique schedule where you play the spring game, you get a look at your guys, you still got a whole other week to maybe do some other things with them? What's the benefit of that for you?
Well, it's really an opportunity to look at some different things that you may not have seen versus your offense. We're a spread out kind of team, and 10 personnel looks, 11 personnel, and we're doing a few different things with with a lot of 12, maybe 22, just really trying to get things that we haven't seen, different runs and those kind of things. So it's been good, and it's an opportunity for us too to go back and recap and really just walk through some things defensively, look at some route combinations that may have been a problem for us throughout spring and trying to correct those things. So it's been very beneficial this week.
Andrew Kaufman, KMIZ.
Hey, Coach, has anything surprised you about how quickly maybe some of the guys have picked things up? It seemed like during the spring game, you guys were getting takeaways and you guys were also really good in the red zone. Well,
it's one of the things that we try to pride ourselves on. I always talk about, 3 elements that really, determine the factor of a game. Number one is third down. We got to find a way to get off the field on third down. And then number 2 is red zone, making sure that we don't get takeaways, we limit our opponents to field goals. And that's what we did this past week. And both of those, you resort to the third one, which is points. So, when you have an opportunity to be able to affect the game in those 3 areas, and if it's to your advantage, you got a strong chance of winning. So guys have been doing great with that. I think really the biggest thing that you saw is that they're starting to really trust in the scheme and really trust in the man beside them. We preach all the time about doing your job and be one of 11. This has always been, since I've been in this scheme, it's been a friendly scheme. Meaning right now, you're going to be able to make your plays if you just do your job. So that's what the guys are doing right now, and they're buying into it, which is great.
Mitch 40, Mizzou.
Hey, Steve, you've got kind of a mix of several seniors from last year who came back on the defensive line and also a few newcomers there. How did just kind of getting those guys who kind of would have already been graduated in normal circumstances, how does having their experience help?
Well, I tell you what, we talk about it all the time as a defensive staff, man. It's great to have those guys, Markel Upsey, Akil Byers, 2 leaders up front that's really, stepped up and made a difference for us this offseason. So, Upsey had a little ding, earlier, but he's fine. AB is playing outstanding ball. Darius Robinson, he's performing well. So I'm excited about all those guys. And when you look at, Realist George, a newcomer, he stepped up and you can see the progress with him, So I'm excited about where we are. And I talk about it all the time. Everything we do starts up front, D-line coming off the ball, creating a new line of scrimmage, controlling the line of scrimmage, and I saw that Saturday, you know, at the spring game, then had the opportunity to review the film. We did a great job up front.
Dave Matterson was supposed to stretch.
Yeah, Steve, is there, you just touched on the D-line, but is there any one position group you're most pleased with going into the next phase of the offseason that maybe you feel the best about how they pick things up?
Well, I don't really want to try to single out one group. I would definitely just reiterate again, the D-line. You know, those guys is really what trigger everything for us. You know, being able to control the line of scrimmage, stop the run, and then have an effect on the quarterback, which is going to, you know, do a great job of allowing the back seven to make plays on the ball. So I'm pleased with what those guys are doing up front. When you look at the linebackers, one guy that stands out is Devin Nicholson. He's doing a tremendous job. And, you know, Ennis on the outside at the corner position he has definitely taken the next step. So I talk to him all the time about, you know, really trying to take his game there. And each and every day he tries to go out and perform and do that.
Parker Reed, KMU.
Hey, Coach, kind of expanding off of, you know, the corners and Ennis and kind of playing that role that you have with the leaders of that defensive line. Who have you seen step up and how do you feel about that cornerback group?
I'm excited about those guys. You know, JD is the guy that we brought in. I've seen his progress throughout spring. You know, another guy that I'm extremely excited about is Ish Verdine. You know, he has performed well. I mean, I think the other day he had the interception in the end zone. They tested him a couple of times on the deep ball, done a tremendous job there. It's just being in phase, not panicking, looking back for the ball, and just, you know, creating PBUs, man. And he is definitely taking the next step. And each and every day he's always, you know, just trying to figure out a little bit more about the defense. How can I do this? So when all those guys are really intrigued about trying to become a student of the game, I know that they're locked in and focused. So I'm excited about Ish.
Mitch 40, Mizzou.
Yeah, Steve, I know you mentioned that it's kind of a clean slate for everyone, regardless of their experience level, but do you watch film of last season to teach off of?
You know, I watched film last year, and to be honest, it wasn't so much to see our personnel, which again, I was watching those guys, but it was more or less, you know, watching to see exactly what we're getting within the conference, you know. So I'm watching a little bit of Arkansas, Georgia, Florida, and in turn, I'm seeing what we did last year defensively. But my main focus was really trying to focus on the other opponents within the division and conference.
Any other questions for Coach Wilks?